live or not? We are live. We got our countdown going on. What's going on, friends? How you doing? We live. We in Arizona, baby. Good to see you, my friend. One more handshake. We thought our last handshake was going to be in Tulane. It is obviously not the case here. I'm going to continue to let everyone trickle in, but it's been a fun ride, my friend. It's been a fun ride. Hey, guys, please let us know if you can hear us properly, if you cannot hear us properly. Just want to make sure everything audio-wise, visual-wise is looking good before we continue going into it. Go to comments. This is obviously, if you cannot tell, our very first time. Hotty toddy, Miss Cheryl. Hotty toddy. Let me see if I can pull up some audio real quick. This is obviously, if you sound good. Okay. All right, perfect. Appreciate you guys tuning in, man. We are. I'm excited. I can't speak for ecstatic to be here because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, man.
It really is, and that's honestly the big reason I'm here. I thought I was done for the year after Tulane. I watched the Georgia game, and I was like, nope, I gotta go work.
I'm gonna give a quick shout out to our sponsors for this week, and let's have some fun, guys. Like, comment some things, ask us some questions. We want to hear what you guys are thinking about, how you feeling about the game. We're gonna get into all that. We'll dive into the transfer portal a little bit as well, as Pete Golding and Ole Miss have been absolutely hammering it in the transfer portal. So give us your comments, your thoughts, and this should be fun. We're gonna be here for about 20, 25, 30 minutes. So let's enjoy. Let's have fun. We hope to do this more often in the future. And hopefully Ole Miss takes care of Miami, and we get to do this in Miami in some circumstance as well. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Real quick, our sponsors. Thank you to Play by Play Sports Broadcasting Camp, the #1 sports broadcasting camp in the country for kids ages 10 and 8 through 18. We've also got Richland Dental, your #1 dental stop in Oxford, Mississippi. Take it to the Grove tailgating and events. Brandon Mason, a good friend of mine. Shout out to him, what he does for Oxford and the Ole Miss fans throughout game day every single year is incredible. Make sure you check it out. Take it to the Grove tailgating for all your tailgating experiences on the Grove and Oxford, and even furthermore as well. We also want to give a shout out to Southern Traditions Farm. They are a proud sponsor of the Rebel Walk and what we do here in terms of live coverage in our website. Crystal Oxford, shout out to Crystal Oxford, what they do around Oxford and providing you guys all the snacks and conveniences. GML Homes, providing quality home building in the state of Arkansas and expanding very soon. We also want to give a shout out to Blue Sky for being a part of our Fiesta Bowl coverage, and Shadrack's Coffee, your favorite coffee spot in Oxford with 2 locations in Oxford and in Arkansas as well. Man, this is surreal, my friend.
It really is.
Like, I know you guys are not here physically, but if you are coming, safe travels. If you're here already, welcome to Arizona. Enjoy it. If you're going to be in Oxford, live it up, for the people back home. I mean, for me, years old, okay, like I got to go to the Sugar Bowl, and now this.
It's a dream run.
It is, yeah. Just talk about your experience real quick, man, because this is, I guess, raw for you because you're from up north. He's from the big cities, up in the northeast side. So how does
the
this
metro area for those? Man, this is awesome. The only NFL stadium I've ever been to is MetLife Stadium, and as a lot of people who may follow that, it doesn't really have the best reputation. But to come somewhere like this that's always hosting these big events and is honestly universally loved, it's pretty cool. And I can understand why. This stadium is beautiful inside and out. But like I said, my experience, I thought I was done after Tulane for the year. And that's partial to, I didn't think Ole Miss was going to get it done against Georgia. I thought Georgia was too good of a team, but they proved me wrong. Just like I feel like they have a lot of people, and that somehow they're still underrated and an underdog. So just to be here right now, it's surreal, and I'm so excited because at 19 years old, I would have never thought I'd be anywhere near here. But yeah,
I love that you say that, bro, because I mean, this is Billy being honest. I expected a fun game. I expected it to be a marquee matchup. But let's break down, I guess, the Sugar Bowl really quickly. The trust that Pete Golding has in his quarterback and his kicker, Lucas Carnero, which is fantastic, by the way. Appreciate you, Miss Cheryl, for tuning in. Thank you for allowing us to help you guys cover this game. Glad to know we're hearing well. Dude, that was some ballsy play calling from Pete Golding. Not play calling, but calls to send Lucas Carnero out there early in the first quarter to allow Charlie Wise Jr. to see the Georgia press and call that play to Sean Stribling to allow them to go on 4th down and get that huge conversion by Harrison Wallace at one point. I know this is only game 3 for Pete Golding, but he's killing the PR run. He's killed the playoff so far. This is as good of a start as he could have asked for.
100%. And I mean, I like what you brought up about Charlie. Charlie's been unconscious during the playoffs. Mm-hmm. He's calling it like he sees it. It's like he has been all year in his entire tenure at Ole Miss. You know, and I'm really glad he's finally getting that recognition that he kind of deserves because he has been calling the plays the whole time. Definitely on the people, the players, for the opportunity that they created for themselves.
Yeah.
It's not about the coaches. It's never been about the coaches for him. It's always about the players because he knows they're the guys on the field making the plays. They're the ones coming out there and winning. He also brings up how many coaches he has. You know, like I think they have 13 offensive guys.
Yeah. Which is a lot, by the way. If you're ever wondering how much goes into these position coaches and how many staff members, a lot.
And he goes, yeah, so a coach isn't going to win you a game.
Yeah.
And that's something Joe Judge has also harped on too, is a coach isn't going to win you a game. Mm-hmm. The players are going to go out there and win the game. So another thing on Charlie as well, just allowing the players to be them.
Yeah.
Allowing Trinidad to be kind of free out there. And it's looked really good so far. Keewan, obviously, even with the injured shoulder, has been great. Logan Diggs, good.
Yes.
Logan Diggs has really stepped up his pass blocking.
Yes.
That's something we harped a lot. It felt like he was just getting destroyed every time.
Yeah.
But now
yeah. But we're good. We're back. We're good. Appreciate you guys tuning in on Instagram. Hottie Toddy. Billy and I are in Arizona. I know we had a little bit late start on there, but what a run for Ole Miss. He just talked about a little bit of Pete Golding and stuff, man. Bro, you mentioned Logan Diggs in the pass blocking. Okay, there were 2 things that I talked about leading up to that. Number one, his ability as a receiver. We kind of saw that spin move in the Tulane game. Then he had a big catch early in the Sugar Bowl as well. But his pass block, I don't remember the exact play. But he stepped up for a linebacker coming from Georgia right down the hole.
So I think he motioned in front of Trinidad on this play that you're talking about, and just he saw him coming exactly like that, and I was like, okay, this is one a pass play or a QB run. But just watching Logan Diggs do what he did on that play was just, I was impressed, and it's something we really haven't seen. Yeah,
and it's crazy to think because we've harped so much about Keewan Lacey's pass blocking ability, and that's also a big thing as well. Not only is he a great running back, he's a great receiver, but he's a great pass blocker. And you hear so many great things from his teammates and coaches. He's just a great guy as well. And I think that really pivots into the point of Ole Miss fans wanting him to stay here after this year. And that's exactly what he's done. So Ole Miss has got a fan favorite. But I thought Logan Diggs was huge. And also Bryson Sanders. Ben asked Joe Judge about this throughout the press conference this week. But, Trinidad is scrambling out in the pocket in that one play. And that's the play where he finds Keewan, and Keewan is getting rushed by a Georgia defender. He breaks the tackle and gets the first down. I don't know if you saw it or really watched it, but go back and watch it. And Bryson Sanders gets up 62 and runs towards the Georgia defender, doesn't put a hand on, kind of puts his hands up and blocks him to kind of give Trinidad a little bit more time to do something with his legs and arms, and it helps Ole Miss get that first down. Not only are these guys great athletes, but you're seeing the mental IQ of how much film they watch, how much game experience these guys have.
Yeah.
In such a short notice, this is Bryson Sanders' first year starting. Keewan Lacey obviously was very, very limited at Mizzou last year. So that is really big. Shout out my guy, Dante Moncrief. We appreciate you tuning in, my guy. Howdy toddy, man. But these guys are really, really, really coming together as a team. And I've seen that all year. I think we saw that in fall camp. We've seen it in the moment where the offensive line was struggling in the first 2 games and have picked it up tremendously since then. Bro, this is a family-oriented team. This is a team that is not just, faking it to fake it when, all the controversy and unprecedented times gone on over the last month and a half. This team is stuck together. They've lit a fire at each other. And that's what is making this so excited that they come together like this. What can't they do in this college football playoff semifinal?
There isn't anything they cannot do, especially with the playing field that's left.
Yeah.
I think it's so even across the entire thing. You look at the other semifinal, Indiana is obviously the highest rated and probably the best team left. But then you have Oregon, who's no slouch. They play in the same division as Ohio State, who's now gone to Miami. And Indiana. So this is a big Big Ten matchup in the other one. And then you look, Miami didn't win the ACC, but everybody knew they were the best ACC team. So, and Ole Miss, obviously, they're still the underdog. Miami is favored, for those of you wondering. I don't know the exact line or spread or anything, but they are favored. Ole Miss is the underdog once again. So I think it's really evenly distributed of talent across the entire board. And to say it again, there's nothing the Rebs can't do in this playoffs.
I think that's what makes this matchup so fun. This is a Miami team that a lot of the national media, a lot of the national fans didn't believe should have got a spot in this college football playoff. Well, they've earned it. And Mario Cristobal said that today. They've earned their right to be here. They beat Texas A&M in College Station. They went to the Cotton Bowl and defeated the defending national champions, the Ohio State Buckeyes. Miami has earned their right to be here. Carson Beck has earned his right to be here. That Miami defense has earned his right to be here. The run game for Miami has earned the right to be here. And this is a Miami team. This is not going to be an easy game for either opponent. I think Mario Cristobal talked about it throughout the week that he doesn't really like the term to say Miami is back. They're moving forward and they're getting into the stance of they're creating the new environment of what Miami football should be. He's locked in. Billy can attest to this. There wasn't really a smile broke through from him during today's press conference. He's locked in. I'm sure that feedback is also being, relinquished to his players. And you get that same vibe from Pete Golding. The PR run he's been on is crazy. But when you have that experience under Nick Saban, which both coaches do, you understand the magnitude no matter what's going on outside, because both these teams have dealt with the outside noise, the outside media, the outside pressure of can you get it done at Miami from Mario Cristobal. And from Pete Golding is, how can you do it? You've never been a head coach. You're thrown into an unprecedented time while also trying to master the transfer portal and the recruiting ranks at the same time, while having staff members come and go and leave, whatever that saga has been. Both of these coaches are fighting through unprecedented times, but are really, really, really ready to make the magnitude. And the players, I think, are even as hungry as the coaches are too.
Yeah, 100%. And I've kind of seen it. I don't know about you, but they're happy.
Yeah.
They're not just like, and this has kind of been a testament the whole year. They're taking in the moment every opportunity they get. They're locked in on the moment, and then they enjoy it once it's completed. But then they understand. And they don't just say it to say it. They truly mean it. You can enjoy it for a second, but you got to move on real quick. And I've seen them locked in. Pressers. I've seen even Kiwan out in public. And he was, I don't know if this is a testament to his retainment or not, but he was on the phone and he was talking. He's like, man, like practice was good today. He was talking about practice in public with someone, which says a lot about this team. And just the way they've dealt with the outside noise all year, I know we've touched on it a lot. Has it affected them? No, not at all. So that's what I have on that.
Let's get some score predictions going, folks. I want to hear what you're thinking. Ole Miss, Miami, score predictions, player of the game, offensively and defensively. I really want to hear what you guys are thinking in terms of that. Also, how do you feel about the transfer portal right now? How are you feeling in terms of what Pete Golding and Ole Miss have been able to do? I thought that the biggest thing in terms of going into the portal early were, can you get some safeties in there? Can you get some linebackers? Can you help the defensive front? They've done that so far. I think that's huge. So we'll get into that more later on. But, yeah, let's hear some score predictions with your player of the games. And also, again, I just want to say this, man. Which you said this earlier, and I love that. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I was getting on my plane yesterday, and the man was like, it was so refreshing to see teams like Miami, Ole Miss, Indiana, Oregon, not really Oregon, but the other three teams, new faces, new logos, new brands instead of the normal Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, et cetera, et cetera. And not just coming from a perspective of me, it is very refreshing. And then I'll let you test this. We got some score predictions coming in. But for you, from not just an Ole Miss perspective, from a national perspective, what is it like to see some of these new brands, these new teams, these new coaches, these new faces to come into this environment one game away from the national championship?
Man, it's awesome. And I really want to harp on Indiana.
Yeah.
Kurt Signetti is doing something we've never seen. Indiana was an awful Big Ten program. And that's me saying it in the most blunt way I can. He goes in, says, I win, Google me.
Google me, baby.
And all he's done is won. And now he's one step away from the national championship. And I don't see anything, any reason why they won't advance. But back to it, nationally, it's so great. You know, these are cheer-outable teams, you know, like fan favorites. I just really love to see that they're coming in like this, and it's beautiful. And also, we are set up for some great uniform matchups.
Yeah, we are. That'll definitely be fun. Uniform matchups are always fun to see. I think, you know, I got our score prediction from Hunter Westling, 38-17 Rebs. I'm interested to see in that matchup in Hunter. Where does the Ole Miss front offensive line compete with the Miami defensive front? We've said it before, especially when you're playing the SEC, Billy. The line of scrimmage matters. You know, I know the name is kind of forbidden now, but I remember Lane Kiffin after the Georgia loss in 2023. And he basically just said they got to recruit better. And that entailed on the lines of scrimmage on the offensive front and the defensive front. Ole Miss did that better last year, obviously getting Walter Nolan, Princely Mamiellan to come in and help with J.J. Pegues and Walter and Jared Ivey and Suntarine Perkins. Those things matter. So I'm really interested to see tomorrow, how does either team win that advantage, and what does it take to win that advantage for either team?
That's a really good point. You know, I've been thinking about it a lot. These are two very physical teams, especially up front. You know, the Ole Miss linebackers as well. You want to bring in the full front seven. T.J. Daugherty, Andrew Jones, Perkins at the hybrid, and Jaden Yates. They're physical dudes. They like to run around. They like to hit.
Yeah.
And you saw it too. Taj Chambers and Whiteout Williams coming down on Gunnar Stockton last game as well. This team is physical, and Miami's just as physical. Not to mention, they're right up there. I think it's in the top 10 of total defense this year. And Ole Miss has seen a team like that when they went to Oklahoma. It's really about executing at this point. I think the game plan is there. It's just about execution and outworking the other team.
Appreciate you, Hunter, for that. We've got one on Instagram too from Spencer_Cast. Lacey player of the game, Rebs by 10. I think, you know, execution is going to come matter as well. Joe Judge said this. The execution before halftime, the Daquan White misdraw, him not getting out of bounds, Keelan Lacey fumbling, that is not what they can do in this game. And if they win this game in the national championship, if you want to win, it's simply not. And, you know, the trickle effect kind of happened down where they ended up, you know, prospering on some of those moments and winning the game. But you have to execute going into the halftime break. You have to execute in the last couple minutes of the games really strongly if you want to compete against Miami, which I think is a very, very important part, because a lot of fans may not believe in Carson Beck, but at the end of the day, Billy, this is a guy that went to Georgia, competed. He competed for 2 years at Georgia to the highest level. He's been in close games. He's been in clutch games. He's been under the pressure spotlight. Carson Beck is going to be calm in this situation. He's seen the defense before. He's seen Ole Miss before. You know, there obviously going to have to be things from Pete Golding that he's going to have to throw at him to really confuse him. But I also say this because I think it's very important that Joe Judge said this too, Billy. You can call whatever you want. It could be the perfect play call, but the players have to execute it.
Yeah.
So it's up to the players to find the moment when you need to spy Carson Beck, when you need to go blitz, how to finish those tackles in the backfield or in the open field and not allow a player to break and get an extra 15 yards. Allow those moments where you have an interception in your hand and not drop it, but take it in. It's about executing at the end of the day. Yeah. You can call the play calls you want. You can set up the right schemes. You can see what the opposing team is in, and you say, I see that. I know that. But it's about executing at the end of the day, and I think that's going to be important tomorrow. A lot of these players have never been in this spotlight, so how do these players execute? They have to trust their fundamentals.
And I like that you brought up Carson Beck in this situation, because yesterday he talked about facing the Ole Miss defense last year. He goes, it's some brand new guys out there. It's a lot of guys I haven't seen. but that doesn't mean the scheme is different.
Yeah.
So you have to change it up, and you have to find ways in your scheme to mix up Carson Beck. And my big thing with him, I'm also glad you brought him up for this. My big thing with Carson Beck, and it's been like this way his entire career, you have to get pressure on him. You have to make him slightly uncomfortable in his backfield, because that will get in his head at least a little bit and give you a better chance at coming away with a win.
Yes. That's true, man, because this is a guy, Carson Beck. If you allow him to sit back in the pocket, he will dial it up. He will make you regret those moments. So, Sontarian Perkins is going to be huge for Ole Miss on that edge. Will Echols had an insane game in the Sugar Bowl. He's going to be huge. But again, we appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to give a quick shout out to our sponsors again for sponsoring our coverage throughout the Fiesta Bowl here in Arizona this week. First, Play-by-Play Sports Broadcasting Camp, the #1 sports broadcasting camp for kids ages 10 through 18. Blue Sky and our man Ben Craddock for sponsoring us and continuing to sponsor us throughout the season. And we want to give a huge shout out to Blue Sky for not only providing snacks and convenience in Oxford, but gas, fuel in Oxford and in Batesville. We want to give a shout out to Crystal Oxford for taking care of the people back in Oxford as well. Southern Traditions Farm, your #1 farming company in Mississippi. Richland Dental, complete care dentistry, your favorite dentistry in Oxford. Take it to the Grove tailgating and events. And my man, Brandon Mason, he does a phenomenal job with the tailgating and helping out the Grove every single football season. Make sure you're tailgating with Brandon Mason. Take it to the Grove. They do a fantastic job every year. GML Homes, Gary and Michaela Homes, providing quality homes in the state of Arkansas and expanding very soon. And finally, Shadrack's Coffee, your #1 coffee spot in Oxford with 2 locations and also in Arkansas. Man, this is Miss Cheryl. We got another prediction from Miss Cheryl. Close game. The number 38 will be involved somehow. I love that. Shout out to Chucky Mullins, man. He's been an impact, obviously, every single year. But you see it in Tyler Banks, and I had the opportunity to work with KD Hill a few months ago, and just being able to wear that number and embrace Chucky Mullins and what he meant to Ole Miss, to Oxford, and to the national sports fan was huge. And I don't think that Chucky Mullins' story gets respected and told enough. So I love that you say that, Miss Cheryl, because 38 is very, very huge. And so, if I'm not mistaken, that was the game-winning kick from Lucas Cardinary, too. I think it was 38 yards out. So, you know, it seems to be okay. Excuse me. Don't listen to me, guys. No. The facts are here, Billy. The facts are here. But appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you, Miss Cheryl. Hey, I want to show you guys the outfits. You know, Billy doesn't have his on.
No, mine's at the hotel.
Billy didn't get prepared this morning. He woke up late, didn't sleep past his alarms. You know, but so I got to the hotel this morning to hear, you know, Pete Golding, Mara Criswell. We get a free hoodie. This thing is nice, guys. I mean, it feels good. We've got a hoodie on the back. There's no pockets, but I'm not complaining.
It's pretty athletic.
It's athletic. I can go run in this, man. Like I can go work out. And this is appreciate you guys, Verbo Fiesta Bowl, for taking care of us. You know, it's we got a nice Sugar Bowl blanket in New Orleans, so this is good, man. This is cool, man.
Yeah, I mean, mine. You know, you got to get it in the size up too, just in case you ever put on a couple pounds. Or I'm not grown anymore. I don't know about you. You're a little older, but I don't know if you're still grown.
Hold on. You're trying to call me uncle. Don't call me uncle.
It's only 2 years, guys.
Making sure you guys can hear us on Instagram. Hope we're good. My guy, fly guy Ty. Appreciate you joining me, man. I mean, let's transfer portal, man.
Yep, I got it. Hold up.
We Ole Miss.
Couple of retainment guys.
Yeah, let's talk about that too. Deuce Alexander come back huge, absolutely huge for Ole Miss. I don't care what anyone says or think. This is a guy that is locked in for Ole Miss. This is a guy that is locked in on getting better. He's one of the best route runners that we have, one of the best scope and make a catch players we have. For his size, too, he really does a lot of big plays on defenders, and his speed is really huge. Deuce Alexander, the Wake Forest transfer this year's had a tremendous year. That's huge, Billy. I can't underestimate him enough for getting a guy like that back when you're losing Deshaun Tribling to the NFL and other guys you obviously you've not heard a word on. Getting Deuce Alexander back is huge.
I completely agree. And I mean, Deuce, I've been a fan of his play style this whole year. I think it really started against Tulane.
Yeah.
That was his first big game, I think. But I also like what he does breaking tackles, and when you get him in space as well. Just being able to use him in so many different ways. You know, you talked about it, the go-get. What about the jet sweeps and the reverses as well? He's dynamic, and that's just going to be a big part of Ole Miss's offense. They like to, give guys space, especially in the receiver room, and he's someone that's really good in space.
I call it the Randy Moss kid. I guess that's what you're supposed to call it, but he got Moss. He does that a lot. You go back to the Mississippi State game, He just goes up on top to finish and catches the ball. I saw that a lot throughout fall camp too. So I knew Deuce Alexander was going to be a star in some matter for Ole Miss this year. It's staying on that realm really quickly as well about Deuce Alexander. The wide receiver room, I said this last year and I said this the year before, but this may be the best wide receiver room in Ole Miss history. There's so much talent, and there are guys who can do so many great things. They all complement one another. And there's not a single guy that just stands out in terms of maybe like 1,300 receiving yards. But when you look at what Deuce Alexander has been able to do, what Deshaun Shriveling has been able to do, he's been on a tear for the last 4 or 5 games towards the end of the season. You look at what Caden Lee can provide. You look at what the tight end room, Daquan Wright, Luke Hayes had a touchdown catch in the Sugar Bowl. Caleb Odom, one of my favorite players on this team. Trace Brooklyn had a great catch against Oklahoma and in a forced fumble that game. This receiver room, man, Harrison Trey Wallace, don't let me forget about him, man. Maybe the player of the game in the Sugar Bowl.
152 yards.
I mean, he was on one in the Sugar Bowl, man. So this receiving room is going to be the catalyst for Ole Miss because you'll see Trinidad Chambers roll out. Some of those guys will move out and help him get out. But also sometimes you see Trinidad Chambers drop back and throw a very tight ball, and you're like, why? Why did you throw that? But he has complete faith in his receivers to make that catch, get the first down.
Yeah, and just on that receiver room note, I swear every game I look at this box score and I see 8 to 10 receivers with a catch.
Yep.
How many teams in the country can say that they have 10 dudes they trust to get the ball every single game? And I also like that you brought up the tight end room because also announced Caleb Odom and Luke Haas coming back next year. Big deal. Really thought I'd see more out of Luke Haas this year, but coming in with the injury and Daquan performing at the level he has been, it makes a lot of sense. But that doesn't take away from how good Luke Haas really is. He's a great run blocker. He's, in my mind, he can be like an honorary offensive lineman in those situations. And as well, he is a great pass catcher as well. And I think he has the ability to break off some big plays.
I love our tight end room this year. You'll see a lot of those guys come in the third down, the fourth down, the goal line stands and help provide run block, sometimes pass block. But Caleb Odom is one of my favorite players on this team. I think he's very versatile, provides a lot for our offense, has great hands and good size. They can kind of run over defenders as well. So I'm ecstatic that Ole Miss is able to retain him for next year. Yeah. And like you said, Luke has had a really good career at Arkansas. Was a highly talented player coming out of Arkansas, coming out of high school. Has great size, great hands, and I don't ever necessarily think that he really just didn't get the opportunity to start. Like you said, he had an injury that really kind of put him out throughout fall camp, and I think the first couple of games of the season too, until the LSU game, I want to say. Yes. But when he's gone, he's a great route runner. Obviously, he has the tangibles to make big plays happen in the red zone like he showed in the Sugar Bowl. This tight end room is going to be fine. I think that they, obviously have to replace the staff position there. Ole Miss does, but I'm really excited to get Caleb Odom back. That's a big pickup for next year for Ole Miss.
Caleb Odom as well. I mean, coming out of Alabama as a wide receiver in the portal, getting transferred into that tight end role. So for me, that's a big deal too because I can see him now that he is a true tight end. I can see him putting on more size as well, as if he's already not big. And I think that's going to help him a lot too next year.
Yeah. Hotty toddy. Appreciate you guys. You know what I think another big piece is? Jalen Braxton. Had an interception against Tulane. He announced he will be coming back. You see a lot of these defensive guys announce they're coming back. Princewell Mamiellan, I know, did. I believe Jamarius Brown did as well. And Jalen Braxton is very huge for me. I think that when you're looking at him, what he's able to provide is a versatile guy that can play cornerback, can play in the slot, can play on the outside, can play in safety as well, which he has to kind of do sometimes this year. When you have versatile guys, especially now, when you're having to play an extra 3-4 games sometimes, those guys matter. It provides depth, it provides quality, and it provides competition, which I think was another big thing for me as well, Billy. When he got healthy, he kind of missed out through fall camp, and TJ Banks kind of missed out too because of things. They provided competition, and you slowly saw that safety group kind of get better when those guys got back because they noticed guys were coming in, competing, and trying to take their spots.
Yeah, and especially like you I don't remember Taj Chambers as well. We really did not see him at all throughout the season until I want to say Florida and Tulane.
He was mixed in. I think he started the Georgia State game, played majority of that game. I think he played a lot throughout LSU, and then kind of was inconsistent in terms of appearances throughout the rest of the season until that later parts of the season, maybe South Carolina. But he was definitely starting at some points, but inconsistent throughout the season.
Yeah, so just seeing him kind of step up and take that role kind of by storm. Again, physical. Jalen Braxton as well, physical. Because Braxton's pick was actually it was like a bump and run, I think is what it's called. Yeah. He bumped him and kind of just came right to him. Just the safety room overall just keeps getting better as they go. And it's kind of like Miami as well, peaking at the right time.
I think I love you say that at the end, peaking at the right time. I think this Ole Miss defense is peaking at the right time because I was concerned.
Yeah,
everyone was concerned after the first Georgia matchup. What's the next step? Is the play calling right? Can they stop the run for anyone? Can you stop a dual threat quarterback? Which I think is another big thing about Carson Beck too. He's obviously not going to run for 100 yards, but he can use his legs effectively when needed. But since the Georgia game, you look at the Oklahoma game, South Carolina, Citadel, Florida, Tulane, Georgia last week, they've gotten better. Brian Brown has said this. They have a bend but don't break mentality. This defense has bent a few times, but they haven't broken. And they provided quality moments in terms of rushing the passer and stopping red zone offenses. I thought the red zone defense, I have to give a shout out to them really quick. Last week, Georgia's driving. Like a minute left in the game. I'm thinking this is going to happen again. They're about to go down there and score. We're almost going to have like 50 seconds left. A huge stop on the run on second down to force a third down pass, and Wyatt Williams on third down knocks the pass out, and Georgia has settled for 3. I mean, that's built teammate camaraderie. That is living up to the moment. That is progression at its finest. That Ole Miss defense has really come together since the Georgia game strongly. I think that game just turned a knob in the defense for whatever reason, because you heard TJ Dodd and Will Uggles say it. They didn't punt one time, and that became personal. That they didn't punt a single time, and it was talked about so much throughout the broadcast coverage of the Sugar Bowl. This Georgia offense didn't punt one time. There were only 2 combined punts throughout the whole game. The defense took that personal, and they've done a phenomenal job since the first Georgia matchup.
I kind of like that you brought that up as well. It's just Carson Beck isn't going to scramble on you. Mm-hmm. So that's another reason I think it's so important to get pressure on him as well, and to be able to throw off his rhythm and get a timer in his head. It kind of just make it a little more tough. That's cliche, it's basic, but when you go against him, that's such an important part of what you have to do.
Yeah, man. Let's shout out these our transfers really quick. Chris Jones, linebacker from Southern Miss. Excuse me if I butcher his name, Makai Boru from Florida, defensive lineman. Jaheim Otis, defensive lineman from Colorado. Ole Miss has also picked up commitments from Sharif Denton, defensive back from Florida. Jonathan Maldonado, defensive end from Nevada. Keaton Thomas, who I think has kind of been the standout guy so far, the transfer from Baylor, the linebacker. And the first commitment in the transfer portal for Ole Miss a few days ago was Jake Crawford, the cornerback from Auburn. I think he was the number 2 cornerback in the transfer portal, if I'm not mistaken. So far defensively, Ole Miss has shown where they think their holes are in terms of every aspect of the stages, and are providing depth and quality to come help out guys that are returning like Will Echols and Jamarius Brown next year at Sunterry and Perkins. So you expect that from a defensive guy in Pete Golding, and obviously some things are still trying to trickle out with the offensive staff. But I also want to put on the fact that how important it is to get Austin Thomas here, and get John David Baker here when those offensive guys, Frank Wilson here, to get some of those retention guys back. Pete Golding had to make a very assertive stance when all the mess happened with Lane Kiffin. How do I get guys here that I can trust, that I know that I have a relationship with, and I know that will get here and put their foot down immediately and start attacking the retention and transfer portal hard?
And I kind of want to brought up Brian Brown. I had the opportunity to talk to him yesterday during Ole Miss's first media day. Unfortunately, my phone died as I was asking the question. It was a long day. But I asked him, I said, with the defensive head coach now in Pete Golding, do you see this program becoming more defensive instead of offensive as it was under Lane? And he said, no, nothing's changing. We're just getting more balanced like we've been trying to do this whole time. And I just think that's a big testament because, that we haven't seen too much offense quite yet, but the important pieces of Trinidad pending the waiver, retaining Kiwan and being in talks for these other guys in case Trinidad does not get his waiver. Then Deuce, Haas, Odom, receivers everywhere. Devin Harper as well. I see this team being so well rounded around him. And Brian Brown also brought up a great point. Nick Saban, defensive guy. Pete learned under him, but he still saw how Saban worked with the offense. Yeah. And he goes, it was today. He goes, humbly, I got to build coaches around me, especially on the offensive side.
Yeah. Shout out our guy, Zach Moretz, in the comments. Appreciate you, brother. We love you, man. I don't want to think too much about the portal right now. We want to, keep focusing on Miami. Give me three keys, Billy. 3 keys for Ole Miss to signify a win in advance to the college football playoff national championship in Miami, January 19th.
Funny enough, I actually wrote this last night.
Bring it down. Share the facts, brother.
I talked about it pretty much this whole time. Disrupting Carson Beck is big for me. I've harped on that a lot. Winning the offensive or both sides of the line of scrimmage, being physical, just being able to.
Shout out to Ali for that too.
Huh?
Shout out to Ali for that too. My bad.
Just being physical is going to win you this game. You talked about it in the SEC. You have to win the line of scrimmage, and that comes with the physicality. If you look at all the teams there, and then third, don't overthink it. Trinidad has talked about going out there to ball and have fun. And that's what they have to continue to do. I think if you start to get down on yourself, you go from level-headed to too low, and that can kind of kill you sometimes. Joe Judge has talked about that too. They've been right here the whole time. I haven't been up here, haven't been down here, right here.
It's a ball knower right here, folks. It's a guy that knows ball. I love that. You broke it down in like 3 minutes better than some people can do in 30 minutes. That's great. That's great coverage right there, folks. Tune into the rebelwalk.com. We got the best coverage in the world right here with Billy Kill, man. I love this game for a lot of reasons. I said earlier this year, these are the 2 teams that nobody really thought could do anything in the playoffs. Nobody, in a way, expected to be here either. I think that it's time for the big players to make big plays. And that's what you saw in the Sugar Bowl. That's what you saw Miami do in the Cotton Bowl. I don't remember the player's name off the top of my head, but that interception from Julian Slayton to get 7 points for Miami, that's huge for them to win that game. Big players got to step up. Trinidad Chambers did that for Ole Miss. Kewan Lacey did that for Ole Miss. Harrison Trey Wallace, the defense. Big players have to step up and make big plays because at the end of the day, you can't make a play call for Trinidad Chambers to go scramble around the Georgia defense twice. Find Kewan Lacey for a little shovel pass one time and then a touch pass and another, and him breaking the tackle and getting the first down. You can't script that. You can't scheme that. You can't make a play call. So it's time for big players to make big plays. That obviously is my first kind of key point. Secondly, the defense did a phenomenal job, I thought, against Georgia, and they're gonna have to do it again. Is in 2-1, but getting off the field on third down. When you get those moments, and that also binds into winning on first and second down. You don't want Miami to build the run game early in terms of when it's 1st and 10, they get a 6-yard gain, then it's 2nd and 4, and then it's, a short third down, maybe 3rd and 1, 32, or a first down again. You have to win those first and second down matchups if you're Ole Miss. How do you force a 3rd and long, a 3rd and 10, a 3rd and 9, or longer to then win those third down matchups and get off the field? I think that's going to be huge for Ole Miss. But also taking care of tackles, disallowing the big plays in the open field, wrapping up guys and really taking care of the tackles in the open field. And from the offensive side of the ball, a balanced attack is needed. It was needed to beat Georgia the second time around, and it's going to be needed to beat a very physical, feisty, fast, smart, and well-coached Miami defense from top to bottom. I know that the Miami defense has gotten a lot of praise from the defensive front side, but this is a great defense from the defensive front, the edge rushers, the linebackers, the safeties, the corners. Ole Miss has to match the physical and energy if they want to beat Miami. But nonetheless, this is what you build up for. College football playoff semifinal, a game away to go to the national championship. It's exciting on so many different levels, and I think both teams are going to come prepared to play this game tomorrow.
And kind of another interesting key that I've talked about with some reporters at the hotel so far, Ole Miss has not scored less than 30 points since October 11th against Washington State. and they did that in back-to-back weeks.
Of all teams, by the way, Washington State coming off that bye week.
They scored 24 against LSU, bye week, Washington State 24 again. Since then, they have not put up less than 30 points. And that's going to be a factor I see coming into this game. They need to have the ability to score points even when things aren't going right, like we saw last week.
I don't even trying to think about player of the game. Like, who do I think is going to be marquee for Ole Miss? I said Daquan Wright going into the Sugar Bowl. Everybody. And let me before we continue to go too far.
Yeah.
We've talked all this, and my apologies for this. We haven't even brought up Lucas Carnero. I mean,
oh my gosh,
dude, like we haven't even brought up Lucas Carnero. That's player of the game right there, folks. 2 career high field goals in the first quarter. Obviously, the big pass to Deshaun Strickland to set Ole Miss up in the final drive of the game, and he wins it with ease. And by the way, Billy, those kicks would have been good for
65?
another 15, 20 more yards. So, I mean, he's locked in. He's clutch. His accuracy is great. He trusts Oscar Bird and his long snappers. It's very pivotal for a team to have great special teams, and that's what Ole Miss has, and a great kicker.
And to add to that, it's supposed to rain tomorrow.
Yes.
So this will most likely be an indoor arena once again for Carnero. So that allows him to, I wouldn't say not confidence, but truthfully, the wind isn't going to be a factor for him. It's whatever the stadium draft is. So whatever he did last week, he can very well do again this week.
I think that's important to bring up because Lucas met with the media this week, and he said that he had a great relationship with Pete Golding, and that Pete has a lot of trust in him in terms of when you're in those scrimmage moments, and you're in the 3rd and sketch and 4th and sketch, and you don't want to go for it. He trusts Lucas to go out there and provide 3 points for the team, but also he, is not as, I guess, reluctant to send him out there on a 4th down instead of go for it in critical moments. So it's very quality. If you saw in the Sugar Bowl to have a great kicker that can, bring in some tough moments. But man, you see me looking around sometimes, and I'm just soaking it in, man. Like we right above us, you guys can't see. It's Pat Tillman's name, number 40, inside the stadium. Legendary player, legendary story, legendary career. We walk past his statue outside the stadium coming in. It's just surreal. And Ole Miss fans, I know you're going to be here. I know you're going to be loud tomorrow, but this is just my invitation again. Be here early, be here loud. These players have earned their flowers. They deserve their flowers. Be here. I want this place to be red tomorrow and loud, just like it was in New Orleans, just like it was in Vaught Hemingway Stadium all year.
And to add to that, I'm pretty confident. I saw a press report. College Game Day is going to be here.
I believe so. If I was looking over there early and I saw some College Game Day vests, and the ACC Network is here, and I wouldn't be surprised. I've heard Paul Feinbaum will be here later on today too. So the ACC Network, the lights are here.
Guys,
they're bright.
You don't get to see College Game Day very often. If you have the opportunity, come on down. Like, be supportive. Show the presence of Ole Miss here.
It's
surreal.
It is, and I saw actually Oxford. Schools, they were, kind of excusing kids to miss a few days if they were here, as long as they showed they were here. So bring it down to Glendale, folks. Bring it down to Arizona. This is a heck of a time. And also, if you don't know, they are hosting a watch live party in the pavilion tomorrow for the game if you're still in Oxford. So make sure you go there. It's free. Food will be provided, as I saw. So that will be a very huge thing as well. If you're still in Oxford, make sure you go to the pavilion tomorrow to be surrounded with other Ole Miss fans that couldn't make it to Arizona, because you guys will be, I'm sure, locked in and on one accord. So if you're not here in Arizona, if you're in Oxford, make sure you're at the pavilion tomorrow for the game.
And tonight, to add on that, Ole Miss SEC home opener for basketball tonight for the men's squad. Be there for that as well.
Yes, sir. Against my home state, the Arkansas Razorbacks. I realized that they were playing Arkansas. I was like, dang, I'm missing that game. But obviously, this is a much greater opportunity for myself. But man, this is beautiful. This is
soak it in.
They're the stage is set. They've got the Ole Miss red zone ready. It's navy with Ole Miss letters in red.
Miami's
and then green. Miami's is green with orange letters in Miami. Brother, this is real. Ole Miss. This is real.
Pinch myself.
Chills. Like, this is, again, I keep saying it, but, like, seriously, I made the best decision of my life to come here 4 years ago. I'm getting old. I graduate this year.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that I did. It wasn't just for football. There were so many other factors that built into that. But to be able to experience this, live out this moment, it's been such a dream come true. So thank you guys. Thank you to the Rebel Walk. This is dope, man.
And to kind of give mine on that too, it's just a kid from New Jersey that kind of blind applied, wasn't great in high school. So I kind of just applied to a bunch of places and I go, I'll visit where I get in. And they call it the Velvet Ditch for a reason. I stepped foot on this campus and I knew I never wanted to leave.
I'm gonna
now I get this opportunity to not just cover sports as a sophomore, and I get to cover a little bit as a freshman last year. But just this opportunity at such a young age. You get opportunities at other schools, but this is crazy. I never thought I'd be somewhere like this, especially at just 19.
I'm gonna try to give you guys a 360 view with the camera. So hope Billy, you take the phone and show them, because you're gonna be a little bit more interactive. But let's see what I can do with the camera, guys. Okay, let's see if I can move around some things really quick. Let's see what we got. Like I said, you see Billy. Look at this place, man. I'm doing my best. I'm not a professional, guys. You got the ACC network set up over there, and College Game Day is on that side. But the field is set. The stage is set. It's gonna be a grind, dandy time for Ole Miss fans. I'm trying to show you that the end zone's it's a little far ways away though, but it is. Maybe. But I don't think so, Billy. I don't think that's how that works, my friend. Okay, my bad. I'm not innovative enough, but this is a great time, a great atmosphere. Ole Miss fans, soak it in. You deserve it. You've been through. We've all been through a lot, and you deserve to be here. You deserve to soak it in. Even if you're not here, you deserve to soak it in and enjoy it. So please do so, because once in a lifetime. But give a shout out to our sponsors one last time before we head out. Shadrack's Coffee, your number one coffee shop in Oxford with 2 locations. GML Homes, Gary and Michaela Homes, providing quality homes in the state of Arkansas and expanding. Take it to the Grove Tailgating and Events. My man Brandon Mason providing quality tailgating tents for the Grove throughout all football seasons. Make sure you tap in with them. Richland Dental, your number one dentistry in Oxford. Southern Traditions Farm. You make sure you check those out. Appreciate you guys for sponsoring our Fiesta Bowl coverage. Oxford Crystal and Blue Sky, Ben Craddock. We appreciate you always for supporting the Rebel Walk and helping us cover. And Play-by-Play Sports Broadcasting Camp, the number one sports broadcasting camp in the country for kids ages 10 to 18, boys and girls. Man, Billy, we will see you guys tomorrow for our pregame and postgame coverage, obviously. And you know, if you see us, speak. You know, let's have a conversation. We want to interact with you, Ole Miss fans. We want to get to know you. We want to see how you're feeling. I'm sure Billy, I'm sure Billy will be walking around with this microphone, maybe doing some interviews with people and asking people questions. So if you see us, we don't bite. I promise we don't bite. We're lovely, kind people. Let's have a conversation. Let's interact. Let's support the Revs to the highest level, because this is just so fun for me. Like, this is so fun. I keep ramping, and
it's been my dream since I was 5 years old, is to cover sports like this. Made it.
We love it, man. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Rebel Walk, Dalen Flowers, Billy Kuehl. Make sure you follow the rebelwalk.com. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Facebook and TikTok. Just keep up with all things Ole Miss athletics. We are providing quality live coverage throughout the Fiesta Bowl this week. We're here live in Arizona. We've got more media things coming up as well. But we will be here tomorrow for the game, live and edgy, ready to provide quality updates on our Twitter and our website. So make sure you stay tuned in with the Rebel Walk. Thank you so much. This is our first live video, not in general, not, in virtual, not in person, our first live video. I want to say it went decently well. So we appreciate you guys for tuning in, interacting with us, and having a little fun with us. Let's do this again, and see you tomorrow, my friend.
Let's do it.
Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hotty toddy. Go Reps.